What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance show where we do our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors, entrepreneurs alike, and the cryptocurrency world because crypto has the juiciest, biggest opportunities over the next year. So nothing is even close. Welcome along on the journey, you guys. We're pumped to have you here. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely blessed to be on this wonderful journey with all you guys we're going to use cryptocurrency as that wealth creation tool and use some real estate down the road as some wealth preservation. And man, has it been a bumpy ride. I guess the good news is that it seems that the ETF is pretty much all but approved. They said it's like 75% chance, right? So like pretty good odds that the ETF should be approved. Like the centralized exchanges are having to update their books or something like that. There's some kind of filing that's being done. I'm seeing going around. So that's really good news. Being that the one of the largest ETH holders happens to like what we like, so that's kind of cool, right? So not saying that he's going to do anything with that ETH or not. He doesn't, that's his choice what he wants to do with that Ethereum. But regardless, it's cool that this guy is, I think they said he's the second biggest ETH holder next to Justin Sun. Justin Sun being the first, which is kind of odd, Dane, because I don't think Justin Sun's ever brought in ETH to pump Tron. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever done that. So I don't know. I like our whale friend a lot better than their whale friend. So I mean, you can look at that. We do have speaking of whales, we have one of the, I think it's the third top sacrificer. He had around, it was close to almost 600 billion pulse. It's absolutely insane. There's like 550, 570, can't remember the exact number. He's down to his last 100 billion. So he's, 80%. What is that? 80% of the way done. Like, cool. I mean, to me, it's bullish that we're holding these levels. We're not making all-time new lows. And so, and I encourage him to keep dumping. I mean, it'd be nice to get him out of the ecosystem now. He can go and move on and do what else he's doing. Or maybe he wants to keep some exposure. I know, Dana, if I had that much exposure and that was my entire net worth, I don't know. There's different levels of the game. Maybe he wants to keep 100 billion pulse exposure and he just felt like he was overexposed. I don't know. Either way, if he keeps on dumping, I got some more money coming in. Hopefully next week or the week after at the latest, I'll buy the dip. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. I'm all about it. If they want to keep dumping, I'll keep buying, because there'll be a point where I won't be able to buy anymore. And I want to be able to capitalize on these opportunities as much as I possibly can. I mean, honestly, guys, I would not care. Like, I know a lot of people feel different about this or indifferent about this. I wouldn't care if we stayed in these levels for another couple months, 3 months. I mean, it does not bother me at all. Like, in fact, for me, because I'm greedy and I want bigger bags, I don't care. I mean, so like, let's get wallet number 3 out and then let's work on wallet number 2. I don't know. I think wallet 2 is Godwell. I don't think we're going to see Godwell. If I remember right, Godwell was wallet number 2. I could be wrong. You guys can correct me in the chat. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm all about it. I feel like, to me, it's super bullish that we're holding the line in these levels. Yeah, we made some lower lows against ETH, but that's because ETH's been pumping like crazy to the news, to the potential ETF news. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on all this. I'm super, super bullish. Looks like one of the 4 catalysts, the rocket ship, the 4 engines to the rocket ship that we talk about. 1 is the Ethereum ETF gets approved. 2, there's clarity in the SEC case. 3, RH starts streaming. And 4, privacy comes to Pulsechain. It looks like engine thruster number 1 is getting ready to be turned on. So super exciting. It's all going to plan. For you guys who are watching, for our community members, obviously don't cheat out your bags at these levels. Don't get fudded out. If the guys on Twitter who are toxic want to get fudded out, let them fud out. We'll buy their bags. It's as simple as that. I know you guys are not in that mindset. You guys come to our show for the good stuff. So I know you guys have the diamond hands and the plan. So it's really cool. So yeah, man, that's kind of my thoughts on the scenario that we're seeing on this large sack. Well, I'd like to know who he is, Dane. Do we have any speculation of who this guy may or may not be?
It's a great question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything about it other than waking up this morning and seeing Twitter ablaze, trying to figure out what's going on. And you're seeing, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I mean, from this local, I mean, we've only sold down 20%-ish, not even 16, 17%. So I'm with you. In fact, do we know how long that wallet's been selling for? Have you seen any data on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for the entirety of these the last couple months, he's the majority of was a good shareholder of all that downward pressure.
All this right here.
Yeah, that's from my understanding. If you guys know more in the
Okay.
chats, I know some of you guys do some really good chain analysis. If you have a better understanding of this stuff, please post away. We educate us. I would love to know more. It doesn't scare me at all. In fact, it gives me more hope that I can get bigger bags. That's all it does for me. So yeah, that's my understanding. He also is he's one of the biggest hex from the adoption amplifier days. He was one of the biggest hex guys, given Ethereum for hex. He was also one of the biggest Bitcoiner free claims. He claimed over 300 Bitcoin back in the day. Pretty insane.
Really?
Yeah, for free hex, right? When they did that claim. He's never sold a hex in a day in his life. So that's one encouraging thought that he does still value, it seems, hex, but obviously Pulse he's getting out. So it'd be interesting to know. Oh, Crypto Face. That would be interesting, Ash. You know what, man? It wouldn't surprise me because Crypto Face is a big player. In fact, he does these streams. I don't know if you've watched, Dane. Crypto Face does these streams where he'll short and long the market with leverage with like $1 million. Like he'll short with $1 million. He does it on stream. And the guy's he's pretty successful. He's made a shit ton of money. And he was a Pulsechain participant and Hex participant. So I don't know. Dylan saying it's not. I trust Dylan. Dylan's really good at chain analysis. He's already bridged out. Oh, Crypto Face is already bridged out. Is that what you're saying? Oh, he sacked 100K. That's weak, man. He sacked what I sacked. I thought I was a pleb.
It's interesting. Yeah, now we could be coming. It's fascinating to be able to see. I mean, we've seen the pump once already, right? And the opportunity to be able to buy when things are cheap. It's at the end of the day, like you make a bet and you ride your horse, right? You see if you picked a good horse. Our horse, if you will, it hasn't changed in my opinion. We talked about this time and time again. The price goes up and down, but you still have all those underlying things still at play. You still have Richard doing his thing. I think these opportunities, these dips are great for buying. I'm with you, Corey.
Yeah. I just hope they last a little bit longer. And if they don't, great. We could start going up. I don't mind that either. For some of you guys, it would instill some confidence. But at the same time, I would like Hex Monkey says here, now we can become the new whales at these prices. Yeah, that's it, man. These prices are so deep, that you could start really accumulating some massive bags. For you guys who are not dolphins, this might be your opportunity to become a dolphin. For the dolphins, this may be the opportunity to become a shark, just depending on how much capital you got and how much you could deploy and how low the prices go. A shark position is still pretty expensive in Pulse. I do believe it's 17.5 billion Pulse, not counting the OA. We never count the OA because we know that's probably going to sit there and do nothing anyway. So 17.5 billion Pulse would be a shark. Man, if I could even get a half a shark, I'd be pretty freaking stoked, man. Even a half a shark is pretty good. I've done well with the dolphin position, and now it's time to start leveling my game. And so we'll see how long it stays down here. If you guys, if the whales keep the price down here for multiple months, there's a good chance I could get a half a shark. There's a pretty good chance. So, we'll see. 17.5 billion Pulse. Man,
17.5. So in USD terms right now, that's almost $1 million, $900K.
So it's still out of reach for most people. Well, let's take a dolphin then. I bet a dolphin. So what is that? A dolphin's about 100K then? Is that roughly my map right?
90K.
So I would say for the average, maybe not maybe the top 20% investor, and maybe they could start working their way towards a dolphin. That's not so far out of the reach. It is still pretty, for a lot of people, that's like 1 year salary or
that's still a chunk for a lot of people. That's a year and a half or two. Yeah.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Unless people are rolling over gains from like Hex or whatever have you, or someone like Crypto Face, who's, a professional trader, and that's how he's bringing new money in. Of course, he's not bringing no money in anymore, but yeah, it's not that far. For me, it makes it obtainable, the dolphin position. I bet you a dolphin position in Pulse X is probably even more attainable. I bet you that's around about 2 billion. Dane is Pulse X. Yeah, about 2 billion. The buy and burn has actually been chipping away at it. Before it was 2.1, and so now I think it's about almost 2. It's almost there. So the buy and burn's been pretty effective at chipping away at it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's almost half price, 45K.
45K for a dolphin in Pulse X, man. Whew. It's not a bad deal. Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting to consider.
It's a lot cheaper than trying to become a dolphin or a shark. Is still in Hex terms, way cheaper. You're still able to accumulate, your fair share of the asset, in relevance to Hex. I still love Hex. I still have a nice bag of it. In fact, I was able to accumulate more. It was nice when the Flex protocol went live. I got in there and I used the crap out of it, and I used it for the one purpose, was to accumulate more Hex all throughout those 2 weeks. I don't touch those things after the 2 weeks anymore because it's just they're reckless. The redemption processes in those things are reckless, and you don't know when they're going to happen. I had my on earn. I had over a 500. I think it's like around 600% collateral, and I got redeemed. I'm like, F these things. And earn and Flex won't put a debt in front on their protocol, where Liquid Loans has a debt in front, and I can utilize that. But the point was, I used Flex the first 2 weeks. I mean, I used the crap out of it. I leveraged up my Hex, and I was earning all that Flex, and I was converting it into more Hex. And there was even some liquidations that happened when I was in the system, and I was able to accumulate more Hex to the liquidations through being staked in the stability pool. And so it helped me build up my Hex position some. So that was really, really cool on trying to get that bag bigger. I'm trying to get all these bags bigger, man. I'm trying to get them all.
There will come a time, just like you're saying. Yeah, and there will come a time where, your opportunity to be able to have prices where you could grow pretty sizable bags for your dollar value, they'll just be gone. And so when those come, it's an interesting thing to consider. To Dylan's point, I mean, you've had theoretically, in fact, let's look.
Well, I'm gonna be the devil's advocate on this, but we can look at it. And I have a big Hex bag. So but Hex retains its value versus Pulse in a downward market, but it doesn't go up as much as Pulse or Pulse X or Inc. in an upwards market. So when we're risk on, Hex gets left behind. When we're risk off, Hex acts like Bitcoin. It acts as a store of value. And you know who was the first one that called that narrative out when we first launched? And Dylan's gonna hate this, was Sami. Sami had called that right to the T with Pulse and Hex and the ratios and the way they react to each other. So yeah, actually, I would expect Hex to hold its value right now a little bit better, being that Pulse is getting crushed, but maybe not.
So what are we from these lows? Let's do this wick. I mean,
Molly, I
right
don't care
now,
who's the winner, bro. I'm not in this to be right. I'm in this to make money, and I got bags of all of it, bro. Like I got bags of all of it, and I'm accumulating more and more. Like I literally want everyone to keep cheating so I can keep accumulating.
sure. Yeah. I mean, you're 50% up in Pulse terms if you've been sitting in Hex during the last, what is that? That's since April 19th, so mid-April. So almost a month. Yeah, you're up about 50%. In fact, I hadn't bought Hex in a long time and I got some right in here. So
I did too.
that's been a good one. Yeah, that
We
one
actually
worked out.
called it on the stream, Dane. You remember that when we were running site, we pulled it up and we're like, hey, this might be a good place to pick up some Hex. Looks like we capitulated here. And we both got off stream that day and bought more.
Motley's here. They want Pulse to be there so bad, Dylan.
That's how I don't.
To your
I don't
guys'
mind
point,
who.
I'm really curious. When do you think this changes? Because Hex has just been slaughtered, and like Corey said, and when we're risk off, it does fine. And so far, when we've been risk on during the last year, Richard pumped Hex, but everybody loved to sell it for everything else, for all the other core Richard Hart stuff. When does that change? Or do you feel like it already has? Certainly open to feedback. Yeah, see Hex in a bull. I mean, we'll see the market. I mean, the market, Richard might pump it, but the market participants so far have sold it for the other assets.
That's the
Do you think
problem.
that's gonna change? You know what I
That's
mean?
the problem is that people keep selling it into like Ink and Pulsex. And like I said, I don't mind. Like whatever bag pumps the hardest, great, because I got bags of all of it. Like I'm not going to try to pick who the winner is, but I do think, in my head, which one will be the winner. But I'm not going to put my portfolio at risk and be like, okay, I'm all in on Pulse, and that's all I'm going to do is put everything in Pulse, and that's it, because that's just to me idiotic. What if I'm wrong? Because I could be wrong. Motley does have a point. They're all tied in the farms, and they will, for a lot part, go up and down together in relevance to the dollar. In relevance to the dollar, they will all go up and down together. They're tied to the hip, if you will, and yeah. So yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with Dylan on that one. I do agree with him on that one. They are tied to the hip, like Molly said. I mean, with a lot of liquidity. I mean, it's nothing to shake a stick at, man. It's a lot, you know.
Agreed. Yeah, and in fact, that's a good point. Is Hex the lowest liquidity RH token right now? I was looking at that the other day. Yeah, I noticed that as well.
I haven't checked in a while.
Let me look. Watch list. Let's see. So, let me pull these up. I've got the wrong ones here.
Dylan says, my talking points. Yeah, the Great Migration. Dane, I thought the Great Migration was all the PDI sellers going into PLUSD. I thought that was the Great Migration. I guess I was wrong on that one. I kid.
It's an interesting point. Yeah. So Pulsex of the RH tickers, Pulsex the most liquidity at 38 million, Pulse second at 30 million, Ink third at 27 million, and Hex fourth at 20 million. Yeah. That's interesting. Pulsex almost double the liquidity. That's fascinating. That is really interesting.
We
We're
will
here
find
for it.
out soon. Yep, we're gonna find out soon enough which ones end up pumping the hardest.
Yep, it'll be interesting. Where is let me find it. Oh, that was a fun comment I wanted to go in after. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it quick here. One of the guys was asking, he says, "We're here for green candles. Do you guys have any?" I mean, it's interesting, and I love your guys' feedback in the chat. The only people that have been making any money, well, I shouldn't say the only. The majority of where you've seen people make it, there it is. Thank you. Have been making any money have been have been in memes. Outside of that, and the core's been sleepy and boring for I would argue just about the whole time that Pulsechain's been around. We had a little bit of a pump back, back a few months ago, but other than that, I mean, it's been sleepy and boring and undervalued, which is the key. I agree with Joe 100% here. And so, it's we were talking with one of the guys in our group today, and he's, understandably so, right? Everyone wants to be rich tomorrow, and he's feeling frustrated, feeling a lack of patience, which we get. And you have the opportunity to go chase some other shiny objects if you want to go chase them to have some, to build your other core stuff. My little PLUSD position I put $1,000 in is now worth almost 15K right now. So that one's pretty good. My $600 in Gifford turned into 15K. That was pretty good. You got some options here, right? You got some
Mm-hmm.
options.
Absolutely. Yeah. LUSD was good to me too. I had been holding that for months and it finally popped off. And then I took the profits and I rolled it over into some Tangain coins. And because those guys, it seems like those charts only go up and to the right. So I'm like, well, I'm going to put a little bit of my lottery play, my little bit of my speculative stuff into their coins to see if it keeps doing what they're doing. In fact, they launched a new coin this morning. I didn't get in on it for the pizza. I guess this is the what do they call it, the day or not, but the anniversary of the guy sold 2 pizzas for 10,000
Okay.
Bitcoin. I guess that's today. I don't I don't know if it's exactly what the date is, but yeah. So
I like it. I like it. And then we've got where was it? Here, Corey, you take over for 1 second. My family's leaving the island. I'll be back 1 second.
oh boy, yep. Go ahead, go. Dane's family was here visiting here in Puerto Rico for the last I think week. And they've been having a great time, and so yeah, yeah. What's up with Two Fucks Fast Abdul? Would love to see when you guys are launching. The time of Two Fucksing is upon us. The Pulsechain map is about to change. I'm still providing liquidity over in the Fux protocol. Don't make nearly as much as I used to over there. Pulled out my larger positions just because I don't want to be. For me, for one, don't like providing liquidity in the bull run. I don't like impermanent loss. I suffered a bunch of impermanent loss over on Pulsechain for a while because ink was so undervalued at 40 or 50 cents. And I saw what the power of impermanent loss does. And so I pulled the majority of my liquidity, but I still have some over in Fux because I like the way they do the weight ratios. It really mitigates impermanent loss a lot. So that way, if something pumps really hard, you're not entirely wrecked. And then with the rewards that you're making, hopefully you should be okay. So I kept some of those farms going. And yeah, man, when you launch Two Fucks, let the world know. I will be moving my farms over and try to maximize those those pools. Because as you guys know, if you guys have enough fucks for Two Fucks staked, you can get the 2.5x multiplier on their farms over there. Well, you got to be a pretty large player in the ecosystem to get that 2.5x. While with Fast Abdul and what Two Fucks is bringing to the table is that you will be able to basically ride on the back of a whale. They'll have all the fucks staked for you, and then you can come in and stake through their contract and earn 2.5x. Well, not quite, because there's a fee there. So maybe it's like 2.25, whatever it may be, 2.1, I don't know. But you'll be able to maximize a lot more of your yield on all these different farms. And like I said before, I like these farms better just because they're weighted like an 80-20, where you have like the 20% to speculative asset, like say like Solid X, and then you have like 80% will be in Pulse. So that way, if Solid X pumps really hard, you're not completely destroyed on a 50-50 pool over on Pulse X. And that's why I really like the balancer fork, is what it's called. It was balancer over on Ethereum. And so I really like that type of yield farming. I still only do it with little parts of my portfolio, because you still can suffer impermanent loss. So be careful. But like, I had a bunch of like what I call throwaway farms. So basically I'm like, okay, I'm going to open this position, and I'm like leaving it for like basically the entirety of the bull run, or maybe forever, right? Like, it's just there to make me passive income. And when I opened those is when Fux had just launched, and I was getting a lot of passive income from those farms in the early days. In fact, in relevance to the ecosystem, I had an okay size Fux position too that allowed me to have like, 2x multiplier on this one, 1.75 on that one. And I've made my money back then, and probably then some on those throwaway farms. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see when you guys launch, so I can move that liquidity over. I still have it, and it's printing me a little bit of money. It's, like I said, it's dwindled to practically nothing. No, I feel like it's practically nothing. So you guys will help boost it again.
In fact, I've been thinking about the PHUX protocol. Do you think that, in fact, where could we? I've been having a hard time finding a good chart of PHUX. Do you think so? We've seen on Pulsex the incentive token Inc. We've seen on 9inch the incentive token. What's it called over there? I can't remember.
A BBC.
Yeah, BBC. We've seen both of those. Once they bottom, they just freaking rip faces off from the bottom. Do you think something like the PHUX token could kind of do the same thing?
I have no idea. My one concern that maybe this is ended up being bullish because we're so down. The one concern was all these unlocks coming due. They're coming due like, I think it's next month or the month after. Remember, Pulsechain's a year old now. And the Fux protocol was one of the first protocols to market, which was really cool. Like, mad props to Buck and his team over there. They were one of the first ones to come out like, hey, we got this cool balancer fork. We can swap stables around without slippage. We have these, this really cool weighted pools where you don't have the as much impermanent loss. So like you had a year lock on that Fux initially. And so when is that, when we a year old on Fux? I don't know. That's when we're going to have to start watching the chart. But maybe the token's so demolished, it doesn't even matter. I don't know. Maybe people just relock because it's like they want to keep their, like the whales, for example. The whales are coming due on their Fux. Like, instead of selling it, maybe they relock because they want to keep their 2.5x multiplier. I don't know. There is an incentive to relock again because you become the biggest, especially if you own a lot of it, you're going to be able to control the ecosystem, right? And the votes, right? So that's like, who knows? I don't know. It's a very good question. And we'll see what happens after the year anniversary to Fux. The funny thing is, Dane, is it looks like 2Fux is launching right around that time of the unlocks in the year anniversary. I wonder if that was on purpose.
Right.
Fast Abdul, can I bribe you to tell me if that was on purpose?
Because I think, yeah, according to Gecko Terminal, Fux has been out about 9 months. What does this say?
I feel like it's longer than that.
Yeah, maybe this isn't right here.
I feel like it launched, a month, maybe 2 max. And maybe I'm wrong. Like a year, like in Pulsechain has been a big giant blur because it's been a bad year. But like, I don't know. I feel like it was like a month or two. I feel like they were like first to market, man. Like with the protocol. I feel that way. Could be wrong. Could be wrong.
And it's interesting. At what point? I mean, you still haven't found a bottom.
It don't look like it's bottom to me. Although it's tapering off, Dane.
It is. Like it's not as steep.
Yeah, it's trying to find a bottom. It'll be interesting to see where it lands.
It will be. It's trying.
I mean, the cool
Yeah.
part for the 2FUCks guys is they need a lot of this stuff to lock up for their protocol to work the most efficiently. And so I'm sure it's been a lot easier for them to accumulate as much fucks as possible, being that the prices are down so much. So for these guys, it's probably a good thing. Yeah, imagine if it was up at 10x, or 20x, and maybe 2FUCks wouldn't end up being a thing because they would need a lot more liquidity to make it a thing. Like what makes it a thing is like they were able to accumulate the fucks and get the 2.5x multiplier across all the farms. That's what makes it. That's what makes it powerful. So it'd be interesting to know their numbers in the background. If I go, if we were up at 10x, could you have done it?
Sure.
Right?
Fast Abdul, yeah. Is this? Did you talk about this already, Corey? The fucks
am
emissions
not.
are going to be cut in
No.
half. Are they
Mm-mm.
cut in half annually? I'm not familiar with this stat.
So wait, Fast Abdul, this is not the same stupid narrative that everyone says about ink, right? Ink does not get cut in half. The emissions get cut in half in relevance to the supply of ink. It does not get cut in half. It stays consistent. So it's only in what's relevant to the supply. That is not like a bullish thing. So is that the same thing, Fast Abdul, with the fucks token? Because to me, I'll cut right through that narrative bullshit.
Crypto Kool-Aid here is here. What's up, Crypto Kool-Aid? Appreciate you reaching out about the iBurn protocol and what you guys are building over there, which has been really fun. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? In fact, any of you guys that are paying attention, feel free to chime in. What are your guys' thoughts on iBurn? I think it's great burning stuff and removing supply. It'll be a really interesting thing. I think we've got to give it. Frankly, I think we've got to give it a lot more time to be able to see the real impact. You saw the gift chart just go parabolic there, and that's because, in my opinion, people got excited behind the narrative. And then, like all narratives, you see people take profits, and you see a pretty significant pullback. Yeah, I think it'll definitely run again. That one was a ton of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I still have a good, not a real good position, but I got a nice lottery position in it. So keep it going. I'll ride it and see what it does. It'll be fun.
Oh yeah, come and stream. That'd be fun. We'd love to chat more. Yeah, burnt 25% of the EI
That's
code
misleading
already.
though. It's 25% of what supply that you can see. You can't see all the burnt supply from the staking. So it's misleading. All the numbers for ICOSA are very misleading. The whale position, the shark position. Like I see people, oh, I'm a whale. And no, you're not. You have no idea how much staked ICOSA there is by other whales that have been burnt and that you can't see in the background, and ICOSA that's actually going to be minted when these guys undo their stakes.
Agreed.
That I agree with. Fast Abdul has a very good point. iBurn brought ICOSA back to pay with EHEX for a bit. Auction starting again. Yep, that happened. You can actually go in now, and there's some HSI stakes going to auction here coming up because of this. It hit its ceiling, and you were able to go and create an HSI stake and sell it into the ICOSA contract, get ICOSA and sell it for that ARB. And so that was a thing there for a while. I don't know if it's still going. Regardless, it's really cool that it happened. Now, here's devil's advocate again, too, right? Like I'm always gonna throw the other side of the coin out. That's also because EHEX was absolutely decimated by its founder. So it got pushed down, like there for a while, it was tenfold against PHEX. And so when you push something down nearly to zero, and you're trying to you have this other thing that didn't really get pushed down too much, but the ceiling is right. You have a ceiling on it. It was easier for it to hit its ceiling because EHEX was slaughtered in price. That's one of the real reasons why that ARB happened. Yes, I agree. The iBurn helped, but also So did Richard by slamming down the price. So don't give all the props to iBird. I'll give some props over to RH too for shooting the price down for you guys.
And you do. I mean, I'm looking right now. You see some, yeah, and I think Crypto Kool-Aid's being pretty fair here, where he says it's a trickle. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's great. If you can keep
yeah,
a consistent, nice, small amount of buy pressure and ARB coming in into any one coin or set of coins, that's great, man. Like if it really works over the long haul. My interesting thought though is, and I'm sure Kool-Aid, you can answer some of the stuff you come on stream, is like if Pulse does go finally do a 20x and people have to turn in, I don't know what is it 15,000 Pulse or is it high, or is it there's a amount of Pulse that needs to be
for
turned in to get
yeah, for the gift to build ARB, the
yeah.
gift tokens, I think it's only 15 pults. I think to do it on iBurn for Icosa, it's like 1,200 or 1,500.
Okay. Then even if Pulse does a 20x, it's still not like it's still peanuts. At least it feels like it.
Yeah, the money amount to ARB it is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go deep with you guys. Yeah, absolutely. Reach out and we'll schedule time. We'd love to chat more, Kool-Aid. That'd
Well,
be
warning,
cool.
Crypto Kool-Aid, I'm gonna FUD tight next if you come on. So go ahead.
Yeah, if you want to take that, we
Yeah, I am not a fan of Titan X or Mr. J Sharp. Just full disclosure, but I am a fan of you guys.
yeah, I like it. Come burn our tokens, sir. I think that's great. Cool. Well, are there well, I want to let's talk a little bit about PLUSD. For those of you that are in the chat that participated with PDI, I don't know if you're paying attention to PLUSD. It went and did like a 20x there in
Mhm.
like 2 days, which is pretty freaking. Here, I'll pull it up. You guys, I'll show you. And so this is an interesting one. The narrative around this one that a lot of people are pushing is they're saying, hey, you know, if you missed out on PDI, this is your next chance to get in on the best up and coming stable coin that'll peg to $1. That's the narrative. You guys know us. We cut through the narratives here. What are your thoughts, Corey?
I mean, it's a strong narrative. It's sticky. We saw what it did with PDI. It absolutely, pushed the price chart. It's still going up. PDI is still in like a very healthy chart pattern. Like it looks like it's getting prepared for the next leg up. If you pull the chart, it's doing a healthy retracement. There's nothing like unhealthy about that chart at all. It might be one of the number one meme coins on Pulsechain. Especially if we go into like a retail phase ever, if we ever go into some kind of euphoric bull run, PDI has done really, really phenomenal, and it still can. Yeah, see,
Really
it's
well.
still an upward
Oh,
trend.
this one's PLUSD. This isn't PDI.
Oh, okay. I thought yeah, that's still that PLSD chart looks pretty bullish to me. It as long as I'm no chartist, as long as it doesn't go lower than that lower low. If it makes a higher low, and yeah, I mean, it could do its thing. I personally took profits because I felt like I made about a 10x off of it. I didn't get a 20x. 20x if you bought the absolute bottom, right? Like if you bought the absolute bottom, sold the absolute top, I think you could have captured a 20x. I got about a 10x, maybe a little bit more. I don't know, give or take. And I got out because I knew the next 10x was going to be a lot more difficult because it's about a $9 million, $8 million market cap. I feel like for me, man, I don't see this getting anywhere near PDI. I feel like PDI it's like Bitcoin, man. PDI is the Bitcoin it's the first runner, it's the first mover. It has all the money behind it. You got B roots behind it. You got PDI is the big narrative. I don't see this doing a PDI. That's me personally. That's me personally. I could be wrong, and I'm happy if I'm wrong. I got my 10x out of it. Maybe the next 10x comes easy. I just don't see it catching up to PDI, especially in the short term. maybe in the long term, because it has 14 trillion tokens in supply and circulating supply, there needs to be some Jeters. There needs to be some bag holders to get rid of their bags. It never had an opportunity to really have price discovery, because the way the LUSD was created, it actually people were selling it. There was a peg. It was way lower. There was a peg, and it was being held from redemptions and being sold down in the liquidity fork. And it never saw any price discovery to the downside without the protocol's help. So there's some speculation that it could go a lot deeper than what the peg was there for a while. That
It held the peg right here.
Yeah, it could go much deeper because there was no true natural price discovery down there. And there's 14 trillion tokens. So for me, like, I got my first 10x. I don't see it going anywhere near close to PDI. PDI it's got first mover advantage. It's the narrative. And I don't own any PDI. I wish I did. I don't own any. And I might be saying this about this, Dane. I might be saying the same thing about this. I'm like, I don't own any PLSD. Wish I did, but it's fine. Like I said, I took my gains and I put it in other speculative lottery plays. So like, I feel like the lottery plays I put it in, I have good opportunity there. And so, tomato, we'll see what happens. The narrative is strong though, Dane. It is definitely strong. In fact, that's what I thought the great migration was. I thought the great migration was all the PDI people coming over to PLUSD. That was the great migration, but I guess I was wrong. Dylan was talking about Hex.
That's right. I think you got some interesting things going on with PLUSD. Yeah, and like Passive Duel says, in addition to what you were saying, yeah, there's so many tokens. So, pegging to $1, save me. We're not, my opinion, we're not going to get near close to $1. And I don't even think you need to get close to what PDI has done to do quite well. You could still get in my opinion, at fairly decent prices if you wanted to.
Dane, you only have
narrative,
you only have about a 10x before you reach that PDI like value. And there's not a lot of, for me, there's not a lot of risk versus reward there anymore. You have a 10x left in the tank, and that 10x, in my opinion, is going to be a rough 10x. Can it happen? Sure, it can happen. But man, I feel like it's going to be a rough one. And so I guess I could be wrong with that. With people lurking in the background with trillions of coins, the next 10x, you can't sell me on that one. I just can't buy it.
That's fair.
So, Funding Jim. Yeah, guys, if you want to know about Funding Jim and his thing he's doing with Manek over there, if you go in there and ask him questions and vote, go watch our show last week. I think it was on Thursday. I had Funding Jim on and we did a whole hour show on it. Like, go watch that. I went in there. I supported the guys a little bit. I need to go back in there and support them again. I created an account. It's $10 to ask them a question. You get them a point on the leaderboard. If him, KG, and Rags to Riches, Brandon, they get the top 3. They get to have dinner with Patrick Bet David. I mean, like, that's freaking sick. Like, these guys are ambassadors of our ecosystem. They can go in there and talk crypto. It'd be really cool. Imagine all 3 of those guys got in the top 3. It would be super fun for those guys. I'm supporting them. And if you want more about that, there's 8 days left, so we don't got a lot of time. Go back and watch our show. I think it was Thursday. We did it.
Yeah, lots of cool things going on. In fact, and if they win, dinner with it's Patrick Bet David, and is it Donald Trump as well?
Now they already did. They already Funding Jim and Brandon already met with Donald Trump. In fact, B Roots was there, and they had like the Funding Jim got his hat signed and all kinds of stuff. That was when Donald Trump was actually talking. We found out he was pro crypto. That's massive. I love that. I don't think Trump's going to be at this. This is a Patrick Bet David and his team, and but still, Patrick Bet David's awesome, man. Dane, you could pay Patrick Bet David. I think it's $17,000, and he will come on your podcast and give you exposure into his entire audience. pretty powerful. You know, if you got something that you're selling into the entrepreneurial world, you know, we've been part of many masterminds. We have a mastermind ourselves, right? And I can see a lot of value in having someone like Patrick Bet David on your show, or even going on his, whatever have you. But yeah, I mean, I'm all about paying to play. I've paid the play all throughout my entrepreneurial journey. I'm not going to stop now because it's taken me to where I'm at now. I am just a peanut brain. Like literally, my superpower, Dane, is copy and paste. Like, what did you do to make $1 million? Oh, you did that. I'll just copy you. And if I got to pay you to copy you, you better damn well. I'm going to pay you to do that. Or if I got to pay you to bring eyeballs to me, or promote me, or allow me access into your community, man, you better bet your pants I'm going to be pulling out my checkbook. Yeah, interesting. 17K. I was like, might be something we could flirt with down the road. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
That's interesting. Joe says, so for clarity's sake, we do not hit 100%
Holy
of
crap.
what we pick.
Who does that?
We got kicked in the nuts on plenty of lottery plays.
Even our cores are kicked in the nuts. Like, would you consider our cores like I'm offside on my cores? Like, I'm not. Nah, I
think most everyone's underwater in some respect in the Pulsechain ecosystem, save for maybe 5 or it can't be more than 5%. Well, I take that back. If you sacrificed Hex and you're taking that into account, then there's tons
those
of
guys are in profit. And that's why Pulsechain's actually, that's why we are in the shape that we're in. In fact, we've talked about that narrative before. It's the worst narrative. I wish you guys, some of you, not you guys, but some of these guys I saw in the Hex conference spinning the narrative. Oh, I got to preserve my Hex value through the sacrifice. Listen, dipshit. That's why this chart looks the way it does, is because everyone preserved their 20, 30, 40 cent Hex, but then they sold Pulse down, because even if you're selling Pulse, if you're at 4 zeros and a 5 on Pulse, and you got sacrificed Hex at 30 cents, then you're still sacrificing Hex. You're still selling Hex at 15 cents. And Hex is only worth 1 cent, not even 1 cent today. You're able to sell Hex at 15 cents by selling your Pulse. This is a bad narrative to be spinning on the community and be talking about. So I wish people would stop talking about that narrative. It's bad for price. It's been very bad for price. That's exactly why we're down so much.
Agreed.
That, and it's just part of the cycle, man. This is just a cycle, dude. Like we thought we missed the bear market. We got our bear market. We've got like 2 bear markets staying. We got a bear market before Pulsechain launched, and then we got a bear market after Pulsechain launch. Like, there's no escaping the bear market. If you try to miss the bear market, it's gonna come for you, and it's gonna find you.
You're not wrong. There is no such thing as a bear market hedge on the blockchain unless you're in stables.
Oh God. And even then, some people cheated their stables when they thought USDC was crashing. And they thought, like, when the 3 banks collapsed, like, the OA was one of the few smart wallets that went into USDC, but there was people cheating out like 20% loss. It was crazy.
It took some balls to do that, man. I give it to him.
Oh, he had the balls, dude. He did it. That's
whoever
super
controls
cool.
that wallet. Yeah, that took some balls. Oh, man. Well, this has been fun today, you guys. We appreciate you jumping in here and talking about the cool things that are going on in the community. You guys are why we're here. There's a lot of cool things going on in the community that we're excited for. I think it's cool what Funding Jim and KG and Rags have going on. Fast Abdul's building. There's the PH guys have been building. It's cool to see that a lot of this stuff, we're going to start coming up on a year of it being around, which is pretty exciting. That could be the next narrative we push, that it only takes a year to shake out the weak hands for the other stuff, Corey. That can be the next narrative.
Yeah. Right. There's always a new narrative, man. It's fun. It's a blast. So
yeah, and we'll shout out. Fast Abdul has $100,000 airdrop and Axis Fire and Open Solidex to mint Prime 2 Fucks. How do people participate, Fast Abdul? Do you know, Corey?
Yeah, that's a sack they're doing so they can build up. It's not a big sack. I think they have a cap. Actually, I don't know all the details, but like they need prime 2 fucks. And so like they're gonna give you a discount. Like it starts at like I think at 10% or something like that, or maybe it's up to 10% discount. I don't want to slaughter this. But they give you a discount on prime 2 fucks if you sacrifice versus if you just go buy it or create it. And then they're gonna do an airdrop over there's a qualifier for that. It's so much. You can see I didn't participate in this particular sack. I did participate in his 2 fucks round. 10 to 30%. There we go. A 30% discount on your prime 2 fucks versus if you just go and make it right now or buy it, they're going to give you a discount, a market discount, and so they can build up a lot of liquidity and go create this prime 2 fucks pool. So just another opportunity to go in and yeah. And they're going to do an airdrop of the solid index on certain wallets. I can't remember. You got to sacrifice so much to be in that airdrop category. And I can't remember what that is either. Top 100 wallets. There we go. So the top 100 wallets will get an airdrop of 100 grand of the yeah. That if you want a 30% discount and some other free money on top, it's not a bad deal when you look at it that way. Like it's actually, you're getting a pretty good deal. Like, and it's going to be launching right around the corner. Like these guys have got it built. They're ready to go to market. Like this is not like, and I'm, like I said, I'm not even invested in the prime fucks pool. I'm invested in the other pool. The full disclosure on that one. I was DCAing all my fucks rewards. Remember I was telling you I have my throwaway farms over there, and all the fucks rewards that I was getting when they had the biggest multiplier on that set. I was just throwing it all in there. I was like, well, what am I going to do? What else am I going to do with this? I'll just throw it all in here. And then that way I have a small position when it launches, So it's like, I don't know if it's going to do me any good. We'll see. I'll be participating though.
Yeah. Kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Something to do on small amounts of money for me. I don't go large on these liquidity farms no more or, any of that stuff. It's just, because it literally any minute, guys, this stuff can turn around. There can be clarity around RH. There could be finally the ETH ETF gets approved and we go to $10,000 on ETH and you see all this Ethereum getting bridged up. It literally takes only a few days or maybe a week before a full narrative to change around and for the ecosystem to start getting green again. And for me, I'm not willing to be in liquidity, with big positions in a bull run. I have no interest in doing anymore. Anything like that in a bull run's a trap.
Agreed. Cool, guys. Well, it's been fun today. We appreciate you guys being here. We will be here. We should be here another time or two this week.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And we'll try to have open mic Friday on Friday. I think we got. I'm looking at a calendar. We look like we're open. Doesn't mean that something won't pop up last minute. But as of right now, it looks like we're able to close out the week, which is good because we missed yesterday, and so we'll try to finish the week out. And then Dane, you're heading back over to stateside Saturday, right?
I am. I'm going to be on the mainland Saturday for a couple of months. Get out of the Puerto Rican summer heat to a little bit cooler environment, and then come back when things start for the school year. So that'll be fun.
Oh, that's right. They'll line up perfectly on timing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yep. That'll be good. All right, cool, guys. Hope you have a great day. We will catch us later this week. Peace.